Some time ago, I was going around the church and I was turning off all the lights, unplugging any of the unnecessary equipment and shutting down the heat pumps in preparation for the fact that we will not be able to gather here as a family for at least a couple of weeks. And as I was doing this, I came to our cross here and the light behind it. And something within me just made me hesitate to turn that light off. And as I was looking up at the cross, almost immediately, the verses of Psalm 121 came to mind. That I lift my eyes up to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. As I looked at this cross and I saw the light behind it, I'm reminded that the light of God is continually with us, and that no matter what challenges we face, no matter what our future holds, we still are the church, and we are still his followers, and he still is king, and he is still with us. These verses, Psalm 129 and onward for a little bit, are known as the Psalms of Ascension. And groups would gather together on their way to the journey towards the holy city of Jerusalem and would be reciting these words or singing these words together. And the author is speaking about looking out to the hills. And in the time of this writing, there would be many different deities, many false deities, many idols that would be worshipped on these hills. And if we continued on reading Psalm 121, it would speak of a few areas in life where people would be stressed, or worried, and they would look to the hills for help. If you were scared of overworking and getting heat stroke, you would go to the false god of the sun and make an offering there. It speaks in Psalm 121, if you were scared of lunacy, luna is the word that, or is where we get that word from. You would go to the moon god and make an offering. Or if you were scared that you in your travels were going to injure yourself or slip on a rock, you would find whatever idol or whatever false god to make an offering to them in hopes of your protection. So the author of Psalm 121 says, I look out to the hills. I look at all of these false areas of hope and these false promises of salvation and help. And where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Within these scriptures, it is not speaking of the fact that we as followers of Christ are going to have perfect life without any issues or without any problems. But what it's talking about is that God is with us, and our help through journeying in life, through trials, through challenges and obstacles, comes not from creation and not from false idols and promises, but from the Creator. Help comes from the Creator, not creation. This is a psalm of providence, and in our relationship with God, there is a providence. It says in Jeremiah 3 verse 23, surely the idolatrous commotion on the hills and on the mountains is a deception. Surely in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel. Our salvation is found in Jesus Christ. Our salvation is found in our relationship with God. So as I speak to you and as I am journeying into what is an uncertain future in these times, we don't quite know what the future is going to hold. I have hope in the Lord, and when I look for help, when I look for clarity and direction in these days, my eyes do not go out to false promises, but my eyes first and foremost go to the Lord, and I pray for his direction. No matter what we face today or tomorrow, nothing will ever separate us from God and his purpose. Things may look different now. Things may be a little more creative or unique, but we still can look to God. God is there for us. So I couldn't turn the light off in this cross, because everything else could go dark, everything else could stop, but the light of Jesus Christ still remains. It remains here on this cross, but it remains in our lives, and I pray that we could share that light with others in our lives, others in our community. That this is not something that is going to break the church. In fact, I pray that this would not be a season of defeat or diminishment, but instead growth and unique ministry. And that when we seek direction and help, we seek it in the Lord. Now, please don't get me wrong. I am not being negative or against those in our community and our leaders who are making the tough decisions and are taking care of us and doing their best to combat this. I am thankful for that, and I pray and I know that God is working through them. But I know that there's providence in the Lord, and I know that as I look out, as I looked up at this cross just a few days ago, I continue to look for help and direction from the Lord, and I pray that you can as well. And don't forget to share that light with others. I hope this has been encouraging to you. God bless. Take care.